For those who follow me, you probably know that I quit my job as a tax manager at a Big Four accounting firm to start my own tax practice in Canada. If you want to get up to speed, make sure to check out my video here. Well, that was just over 2 months ago, and I want to give you an update on how that business has been doing. As you can tell by the title, I'm grateful that I was able to sign on clients and make 5 figures in revenue in my first month. My business was off to a good start, and I want to share my process with you for those who are interested. If you're wanting to quit your 9 to 5, or if you are interested in starting your own business, make sure to watch until the very end to learn from my trial and error, as well as be the first to know what my big plans are for this year. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gabrielle, a CPA and tax expert and founder of Balance and Wealth CPA, an accounting firm in Canada. I help small businesses in the online space such as e-commerce, social media influencers, and cryptocurrency. Here on my channel, I talk about everything money, such as investing, saving, budgeting, tax tips, and now entrepreneurship. Today, I'll be filling you in on my business that I started just over 2 months ago and my trial and error process. Prepping for the business launch. First, I want to talk about the preparation required before I even started the business and everything that went on behind the scenes. I actually documented what I did back when I first launched my business, and I will be posting these updates on my Instagram, so if you're interested, make sure to follow me there. So let's travel back to February and let's see what I said.
Hi everyone! So this is my puppy. His name is Lucky, and he was making a lot of noise while I was filming, so I decided to just have him here with me. I'm starting a little bit later where I've launched my business. There was a whole process before my business launch where I've been working up to it for about 3 months, sort of on and off, while I was taking time off, but that's a whole nother story. I don't know if I want to get into it here, but just to sort of summarize, I had to think of a business concept. So that was something that was brewing in my mind for a couple months. It's not something that I came up with overnight. And then once I came out with a business concept, I had to think about my niche and who I want to serve. I also had to create a name, and that also took a while because names stick with you forever. So I wanted to come up with a name that was meaningful for me for my practice. And once I came out with a name, I had to create a domain and start creating a website. And as I mentioned, I was a tax manager, so I don't have any experience in website development. And instead of hiring someone, though, I decided to create the website myself because I wanted to be really hands-on on the whole process, and I wanted to really think through every part of my website and how I want it to be portrayed and have the text edited anytime I want, and instead of hiring someone who I would always have to go to if I ever want to make changes to my website. So even if my website isn't completely pro, it is something that I've worked on and I learned through the process. Maybe I will have it updated by a professional later down the line, but as of now, I am happy with the way it looks. It's very just simple and clean, and that's sort of the vibe that I was going for. And that took a whole while because I had to sort of learn the skills as I went. It wasn't just I started working on my website right away. It was some trial and error. And then during this whole process, I had to also get the right licensing. And as a CPA, there are very stringent rules in place and regulations which I had to follow and apply and pay the fees and wait for the application to go through and everything like that. So I had to go through the whole licensing process, which in itself wasn't the easiest, but finally in the end I was able to make it through. After that, I had to apply for e-filing number because I will be electronically filing my tax return. So I decided to apply for the e-file number, which in itself takes a month. After that, I also had to think about some sort of automation and how I'll be reaching out to clients. So I also had to learn how to do email campaign. And also another important thing that I had to take care of was which tax software that I want to use, which practice management system I want to use. And so that also required a lot of research and sort of comparing which one was the right fit for me. In the end, I did go with a tax software that I was familiar with that I used in my role as a tax manager at a Big Four. And that tax software is top in its industry, and I believe top 30 of the accounting firms all use it. So it's highly reputable software system that I wanted to go with. It is a little bit pricier, but I decided to make that investment instead of switching later down the road. And so I did go with that tax software. I have yet to kind of find what the right practice management system I want to go with that has a billing function and I could keep on top of tasks, but that is more meaningful once I have a team. And right now I could sort of get by with the really basic practice management system I have with the program that I decided to go with that has a client portal and everything. I think I covered in a nutshell everything that I was working on in the past little while. Now I'm coming full circle where I decided to not have everything perfected, but just have enough to launch the business and then make new processes as I go. Because if I try to perfect everything and try to think of everything before I launch, I knew it was going to delay the launch, and also things are going to change, and I didn't want to waste my time working on something and perfecting something when things are going to change eventually. And I decided to just deal with things as they come. So right now I am thinking of the pricing structure for my business and coming up with proposals and engagement letters and workflow and templates for potential tax planning and all that. So I still have quite a bit to go, and I'm working on them day by day and putting more things on my to-do list as they come up. So I always have a never-ending list, but I guess that's what it means to be an entrepreneur who has just started their business not too long ago. And my end goal is to have everything seamless and automated and smooth and outsourced so that I could get some of my time back. In the meantime, I know it's normal to be spending a lot of time in your business as you get it off ground. So I hope that this is going to be helpful for some of you guys, or even interesting for you guys to watch. And I'll see you guys in my next post. Bye. Lucky says bye too. Bye.
Running the business. Let's come back to present time and reflect on what it has been like running the business for 2 months. The first day of the business launch, I sent out an email campaign to those who were on my email list, who have reached out to me prior to the business launch and who were interested in my tax services. The next 2 to 3 weeks were spent on having discovery calls with potential clients and understanding what their business concerns are and if I could help them through the services that I offer. For me, this process came quite natural from my role as a tax manager whose responsibility was to be the direct contact for my clients. Following the discovery calls, I drafted proposals with customized services to solve or find answers to their business problems. Usually this came in the form of tax memos or tax consulting. Naturally, there would be add-on services such as tax returns for the individual, and if they're married, their spouse or their common-law, and their corporation. If the clients agreed on the proposal, I would then send them an engagement letter and receive a retainer for 50% of the quoted fees. And that is how I made the 5 figures from the first month of business on retainers alone. The whole client onboarding process was definitely an investment of my time, as I spent time to get to know the clients and their needs and crafted a customized list of services for them. This step is important in order to build a client relationship, but also to be clear about the expectations set with the client in terms of fees and services that they will be receiving. With a service business, it's easy to start blurring the lines as to what is or isn't included in the fee. That is why setting a scope and an agreement before starting any work is very important, so your client knows that any out-of-scope items result in additional fees. This is because a service business is basically an exchange for your time and expertise. Out-of-scope items result in additional time and resources, which I believe should be charged additionally to the client. It's a matter of communicating this to the client and letting them understand and agreeing to an additional scope and fee before you continue doing any work. Most accountants charge on an hourly basis, but I like to charge based on a fixed fee range. This provides clients assurance in terms of the cost that they can expect, but the fee range also allows you some flexibility to charge clients on the higher range of the fee if more time was spent completing a deliverable than you expected. Pricing is a very tricky subject, and there is definitely a trial and error process. It would also be important to understand your overall financial position, such as your operating expenses and profit margin, so that you are running a business that is making money and not losing money. After the onboarding process is complete, it is a matter of working on and completing the deliverables. The deliverables in my case are tax consulting, tax memos, and tax returns. Instead of having a different way of working on deliverable for every single client, I thought of ways to be more efficient by creating processes and automating tasks when possible. I've set up a few email automations for steps that clients need to complete and key milestones on a project, so I don't need to draft an email every single time. Creating an efficient process that can be replicated saves a lot of time and stress. Sometimes you don't even know what an efficient system is until you have many trials and errors years after years of doing what doesn't work. I think I saved some time and headaches by using my experience working at a Big Four, which had decades to perfect a system. I took from my work experience and applied what works for my small business and customized processes that allowed me to be a little bit more nimble than a Big Four company. While I tend to be an overplanner or even an overthinker, I do believe that this has its merits as I am able to forecast potential issues and scenarios and prepare for them. I also learned to let go and accept that you can't set up a perfect business from the very beginning. Maybe have a business that is 70 to 80% ready and then test it in the real world. There are going to be unpredictable events and the business is going to evolve and adapt to it. I had the mindset that there are going to be growing pains, and instead of being afraid of the unpredictable, I decided to shift my mindset to accept challenges as they come and find solutions to issues as they arise. So far, I'm very grateful for a relatively smooth business launch and that I've been able to make more than my 9-to-5 to date. My next plans are to learn how to scale my business and to grow it at a pace that is sustainable and that I can manage. So make sure you stay until the very end to find out about my exciting future plans. My future plans. After working with a handful of clients and having a good idea of what they are having difficulties with, I've realized that there are many overlapping concerns among small businesses. So far, there is a limit as to how many people I could help because I only have so many hours in a day. But I realize I want to reach and help more of you who are planning to start small businesses or already operating a small business in Canada. I realize that many small business owners struggle with financial literacy, which is critical in growing a profitable business, but also being compliant with various reporting requirements that you may not even be aware of and then be hit with penalties down the line for being non-compliant. I understand that finances don't come easily to everyone and the exorbitant amount of information out there is difficult to absorb. It's difficult to even start sometimes since you simply don't know what you don't know. At the same time, outsourcing accounting and finances can cost you thousands of dollars, which can be quite pricey for a small business. For example, a CPA can cost you on average of $200 per hour, which can be higher or lower depending on their experience. I also believe that if you are just starting out your business, it's important to have a foundation of how the accounting and finance works. So as you grow your business, you could delegate those responsibilities, but you would first, as a business owner, have an understanding of how your business is doing financially. That is why I'm planning to create a program specifically designed for small business owners in Canada so you can learn the foundations of being financially literate when it comes to running your business. I'm in the process of creating the course, but I intend to cover topics such as what business structures are available and what works best for your business, such as a sole proprietor, a corporation, or a partnership, how to know when to incorporate your business, how to register your business with various federal and provincial bodies, basics of bookkeeping, as well as provide free templates, and my favorite resources that can save you time and money, how to analyze your income and expenses, how to read financial statements, compliance requirements such as GST, HST, and tax returns such as T1s, T2125s, and T2s, how to plan to minimize your tax liability by taking advantage of various tax deductions available to you, difference between paying yourself a salary versus a dividend if you are incorporated, as well as some basic tax planning concepts. If you're interested in learning more about this course and want to be on the waitlist for when it launches, make sure to fill out your information in the link provided in the description box down below. You could also take part in the program creation by letting me know what business and finance concerns you are having trouble with and that you want to learn more about. Now that is a wrap on my business update and my exciting future plans. If you are interested in more videos on my journey on personal finance and as an entrepreneur, make sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell. If you liked today's video, make sure to check out my other videos here, which I'll be listing, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!